Potato is tomato.
Hello, today is January 26, 2022.
Today's topic will be a little bit of a continuation from our podcast, Online School Again, but with a bit different. Rather than online school again, it's going to be back to school. As you probably know, we were online and now we are back in person, and we're basically going to be talking about that. And in this podcast, we also have a guest with us, ClosedNutria, if you'd like to say hello.
Hello, Bucket, and hello, Ricey Boy. Thanks for having me to talk here today.
And just before we start, thanks so much for the support with 700 listens. It means a lot to us.
So the first thing that we are going to be talking about today is there any difference from the last time that we got back in person compared to this time?
The difference was, I feel like we were a little less prepared that we were going to online school last time.
Yeah, we're more prepared now, and we're more prepared for coming back as well. And I think that the way of teaching, I think, is now changed because of when we were online. We now have it's almost like there's a different way we're getting taught. We're kind of doing the same thing as we'd be doing online. Right now, we're in class, we're learning stuff that the same way we'd be learning online. So we're using online softwares and all of this type of stuff, allowing us so that if we were to go online, everyone would be ready like that.
Well, I do think it's very true how some people were really surprised that we're going back to school, and how most people are now using tons of technology for class. But I think the real shock to the world was that we actually went back to school, because there were so many changes that, we were not going to go back to school, and now we're going back to school. And it was just all this decisions on how we're going to go. If we're gonna go.
Now for the next thing we're gonna be talking about is we kind of have this a two-parter type thing. How strict are the rules, and how strict did you think it was gonna be compared to what it is?
I think the rules would have been tight, but for some reason the rules are now listening a bit, but the cases are listening, but I still think the rules should be really strict, because if we're going to continuously get in the habit of just kind of loosening the rules, we're eventually going to go back online like we just did before Christmas, because there were so many cases just rising back up.
Yeah, when I remember thinking the rules are gonna be so strict now. We're gonna be wearing 6 masks on. There's gonna all the teachers are gonna be wearing these special medical masks, and I thought it was gonna be this whole big thing, and I was worried that I was gonna be stuck in my chair the entire day. But it feels like the rules are less, they're not as strict as they were even before. It's kind of weird. It's almost like I feel, even though the numbers are going up and there's more risk and all that, I feel like in some way the rules are it's even less strict. It's hard to think about.
Yeah, I agree with you just said there. We thought the same way. They had it all over the news that we would have to wear 3-layered masks. We could only wear the surgical ones, and the teachers would have to wear a mask and a face shield. And when we went back in person, I actually forgot my medical mask, so I was wearing a cloth one, and they didn't mind at all, and almost none of the teachers had face shields. So I don't know if they got rid of the rules for that, or the school just wasn't going along with it.
Yeah, and back on our other thing that we were just talking about, with the technology and how we're moving to technology. like in class now, we're kind of like using online programs for basically everything we're learning, and it's like I think there could be a reason. There could be like two reasons for this. One, it's like the new way of teaching, and it's easier, and they're doing it on purpose. Or it might just be that if we happen to go online all of a sudden out of the blue, that we can immediately get back into work and not like have to start up everything again.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just totally agree with you said there. Sorry. And also, what do you think the teachers are having to deal with?
I think they might be getting. This might be hard to understand what I'm about to say, but I think they might be getting told to tell us to be careful and like to be and like there's the rules are more strict and doing all this and that we should be sitting at our desks more and all that. But like at the same time, I feel like the teachers are actually trying really hard to make school fun through this. Like the way they're using different programs and it's make and like there's in these tough times, it's like I don't know how, but they're making school more enjoyable and even though the restrictions are kind of loose. And I think that's why we might like us three right now we think that the rules are like actually less strict, but maybe they actually are more strict, and the teachers are kind of like making it seem like it the other way. And now I could be wrong there. That's just a theory I have, and it might be hard to wrap your heads around. But if you guys have anything to say on that,
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Sorry, you can go.
Okay, I'll go. 3, 2. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like how the rules are so strict, but yeah, teachers are making it more enjoyable. Like how new things are introduced to us, like Book It, and more coots are being played and stuff. And then how the rules are super strict at recess, and how it's just like how close you can get is very, really strict because how the COVID cases are going up.
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to all my teachers. I'm obviously not going to say their names because I do not have their permission. But I'm going to give a shout out to them. I think they're doing an amazing job through this pandemic. And like you said,
Yeah.
they are making school much better fun, a more fun place. Like like ClosedNutria, you said, we're introduced to more Kahoots, Blue Kets. We're doing a lot. I'll say it's more fun than usual, I feel, because of the pandemic, and I think our teachers are doing an amazing job handling it.
Yeah, like I think that the work is a lot more fun right now, and I think they're doing an amazing job, but at the same time, it's probably putting a lot of stress on them to find things that everyone will like and like to keep everyone safe and all this type of stuff. It's put all on them and our safety is in their hands and that's like always been a thing, like even before COVID. Our safety is in their hands and they're handling like almost now 30 kids in like a classroom, and that's a lot of stress in general. But then now with COVID, more stress, and then they have to keep kids safe from COVID. They have to make sure protocols are in check. They have to make work exciting for people, and I really do give shout out to the teachers, and I think they're doing an amazing job.
Yeah, I totally agree with both of you. How fantastic teachers are doing and how they're handling these protocols. Because yes, you have to make things fun because COVID has been very tough and teachers are just making it a lot more better and it's phenomenal what they've been doing.
Yeah, also I know we're saying this a lot, but the fact that the teachers have to put up with these protocols, I think is incredible how they go along with everything. I think it's amazing what they're doing for us kids, and really, I'm just gonna say it again. I'm giving a huge shout out to the teachers right now.
For the next thing we're going to be talking about is what are you feeling like when we are going back to school? Like, is it? Are you feeling nervous? Like, is there anything? Do you feel different than like a normal time?
Now, I've got my first vaccine and I'm getting my second one in February. And when I went back to school, I felt okay and protected because I did have my one vaccine and I felt a lot safer than I would without any of them. But still, there are some younger kids that, like we said, they don't put on their masks a lot. We talked about that in our COVID discussion podcast.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it could it could be worse, but also it could be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my sister, she when we first got into school, didn't have her second vaccination yet. She does now, but when we first got in, she didn't have her second vaccination yet, and we were worried because we were worried because of Omicron spreading so fast. We didn't want her to be at risk of getting COVID and getting hurt from it. So for the first while before she got her second one, she wore a medical mask and then a cloth mask over top of that to be extra careful. And it's it's more like for like kindergartners as well. Like they can't be expected to have a mask on 100% of the time. They also don't have most of them probably don't have any of the vaccines. So it's scary that some of these kids who aren't as fortunate as us and are younger, they're really at risk and they're also exposing their family members, and it's just that's kind of another reason why we need to get everyone to be vaccinated.
Yeah, I agree with that. How some kids can't do a lot of things now that they used to be able to do because they're not old enough to get the vaccine. And sometimes it can be really frustrating because sometimes little kids just sometimes they can't really just not get sometimes what they want. Like sometimes they have tons of fun, but since the COVID protocol, things have been shutting down and they can't do as much things because they are not of age to get a vaccine.
That's
Yeah.
also why I'm giving a shout out to the teachers because like we said, they have to put up with all of this and they're risking exposure to teach us through this pandemic. And it blows my mind away.
Yeah, and now for the next thing, this is something more for ClosedNutria to talk about. How how teachers and students are more comfortable online.
Yeah, I guess teachers and students, they're technically more comfortable online because they've done it 1 year before. Because since I think it was March when it shut down, we went online. But yes, how online has been much easier for teachers to set up things and kids to learn online because how we've already been used to it. But there are still some troubles with sometimes kids can't hear stuff, can't see stuff. Wi-Fi could be still an issue, but our Wi-Fi should be getting better. More things are being planned. But yeah, sometimes there's struggles, but there's mostly triumphs in the end for online school.
I definitely think like the online school has been a little bit of a disadvantage to the people that are less fortunate to know about technology than other people, and I feel like I said, it was a disadvantage because, like ClosedNutria said, uh, sometimes they can't get into the meeting, and that will result in maybe they miss the whole day, or they miss a couple of important things in class, and then afterwards they don't know what to do. And also, what ClosedNutria said, maybe some kid can't use his microphone, or he doesn't have one to speak through, so he couldn't ask a question. And I feel like that would have an impact on some things.
Yeah, sometimes things can happen because maybe this one kid who mostly shows up to class, they can't get onto online because maybe they don't have an iPad or a computer they can use at home. So then the school has to send them one, which may take a few days or something.
Now for our next thing, some people still have iPads, and so we don't have them in school, which is affecting how we're now learning, as we said at the start. It's kind of affecting how we're now learning in face to face.
It's a little strange because I know that during the back to online school, the 2 weeks time that we had, iPads were actually delivered to the kids that didn't have their hands on technology. Now, there could be a shortage on the school board for technology, and if there is, I think they should invest a little bit more money in case we go back to online school again in technology that they can give to kids.
Well, what are your thoughts on the school purchasing multiple like hundreds of iPads?
Now, I know a regular iPad I think is over $1,000 now, or depending on which kinds you get. And you might, I don't know if this is a possibility, but you might be able to buy it from your supplier in bulk for less money than it is to buy every singular one. Now, that is going to be expensive, but it's also going to be an investment for future COVID protocols.
That is true, how iPads can be really expensive, but we also have to think about how much pay the teachers have for when we go back in person, how much we have to cut down on their pay, like pencils, paper, what else, like rulers, calculators that they have in the class. Then they'll start actually having to use their own money because most of the pay is going to iPads and technology. But with the technology, we have all that stuff there. So it's really a this and that with it.
Like I said, it's a serious investment to buy all those iPads because, like you just said, that'll cut back on the teacher's pay, and we won't be able to pay. They'll have to pay out of pocket for pencils and desk equipment. But also, then, if we have the iPads, couldn't we just do all of our work on the technology instead of writing it down now? Because we are moving into almost 2025, which almost seems around the corner. That's 3 more years, and I think by then we'll see a dramatic increase in the amount of technology used.
And now we've talked about that, we're going to move to another topic. Now that we're back, they have closed down a lot of sports and clubs. What do we have to say about that?
I am a sporty guy myself, and I like sports. I was really sad when the sports were getting shut down, but I was saying to myself, that's true. That is very true. We're going to spread Omicron to everyone if we continue this hard-breathing, close-contact sports. And that would just ruin a lot of things. Schools are going to have to get shut down, and we're going to go back online.
Yeah, like, We were about to start one of my favorite sports in school, and it had to be shut down just before we would be able to start it. And it was it was sad when I heard it, but I know that if it was to keep open, that it would have spread COVID a lot faster than we would have wanted to.
Now, yeah, I agree with you on that one. Like you said, one of my favorite sports was coming up in the school year, and they were holding tryouts. But because the Omicron variant got so to such a high degree, they had to shut it down, and then we went into online school. So like I said, I'm quite sad that they have to shut down these sports, but then also I'm glad because it's not spreading the different variants around to other people. Now, that's all the time we have today. Thank you very much, ClosedNutria, for coming over today. And also, thanks so much for the 700 listens. Thanks so much for the support, and just thank you very much.
Well, I think we really did say everything we had on this topic, and I hope everyone has a great day.
Goodbye, guys. Thanks for having me.
Potato is tomato.